you ever wonder how these rocks existed on top of the mountains? Was it the works of the early civilization, or was there a natural process behind it? Come join us as we explore on how are these rocks found on top of the mountains. Billions of years ago, rocks making up these mountains already existed even before the mountains are formed. Let me give you an illustration. Here are two convergent plates. Before the collision, rocks are already present on the surface. During the collision, mountains are formed, thus carrying the rocks on top of it.
Now that we know how the rocks are found on top of mountains, now let's talk about weathering. Weathering affects the composition of these rocks. There are two types of weathering, the mechanical and chemical weathering. Mechanical weathering occurs when physical forces break down rocks into smaller pieces without changing its mineral composition. When water enters the rock, it freezes and expands that cause the rocks to break up. These rocks are the examples of spheroidal weathering, which causes the corners and edges of rocks to be rounded.
We went to Santo Rosario to find one of the largest mountain rock formation in Baguio. You can see these stones which are likely sculpted and carved by humans but are actually formed naturally by nature. There are two ways on how a metamorphism rock is formed. These are contact metamorphism and regional metamorphism. In this area, we have observed that the regional metamorphism is very evident. But first, what exactly is regional metamorphism? Regional metamorphism results in large-scale deformation, and high-grade metamorphism change this occurs in mountain building with direct pressures and high temperature.
This is an example of a mechanical weathering which is called biological activity caused by humans. According to the barangay captain, this hole was dredged to serve as a passage for easier access to the rocks on the other side. This is an example of a metamorphic rock called schist. Most metamorphic changes occur at elevated places, which is caused by temperatures and pressures.
We went to Crystal Cave to see some examples of sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks are rocks that are formed when sediments are compacted and cemented.
Sediments are lower rocks of the Earth's surface that are broken down into smaller pieces. Erosion involves the weathering and the removal of rocks. These rocks are carried by water, which came from the top of the mountain down to the rivers. The water then carries these sediments and compact with the other rocks in the river to form the sedimentary rock. Here is an example of a sedimentary rock called conglomerate.
Now that we've learned how rocks are formed and found on mountains, and some of its classifications, let me show you other things that we've seen while we were exploring. We've also seen a pedal-fed type of soil which is best developed under forest vegetation. This type of soil accumulates iron oxides and aluminum-rich clays in the B horizon. As you can see, the soil is reddish, which was caused by the humus from the leaves of the trees, mostly pine trees.